Nick, welcome. Great to see you, my friend. I am honored that you skipped your jump in the lake to be with us here today.
I broke my streak. I had 13 days or 14 days in a row. Yeah.
14 days in a row jumping in a Minnesota lake in late December. Are you okay, my friend?
You know what? I'm surviving today without it. Yes.
Yeah, it's like there's a pandemic and you've been locked up for months on end.
It's called a psychogenic response.
Well, what do you got to share with us today?
So I'm excited about today because we're going to share something that's new from one model. So
All right.
I think I can jump right in. I can start sharing.
Jump right in. I'll get out of your way. We'll talk about it at the end. Sound good?
Sounds great. It's about to start happening. Here we are. Okay. I'm assuming everyone can see this, so I'm going to proceed. All right, so first things first, quick introductions. I actually haven't looked to see who's online. I probably know some of you, and I wanted to let you know my background because as we have this space expanding, we have new people coming in, I think it's just beneficial for us to know all the different types of professionals that are coming into people analytics. So I have a background in actuarial science and been through a number of different types of roles before finding my way into people analytics at the time I met Al, actually, in 2015. So worked with large firms building up people analytics and strategic workforce planning, COEs. I am now with One Model. One Model is a people analytics platform. This pulls data from HR systems, puts it together, allows you to do visualization, storytelling, as well as AI and machine learning, customize those models. The thing that we're going to see today is actually One Model's new product. I'm going to show you screenshots from some work we did with that today. So this is my point today is going to be to talk about the how. So, I think the why around external market data, I think that's probably been, driven in. And you joined this program. So I'm guessing that you didn't join to find out why. You probably know why it's important. So let's talk about some of the how stuff. And what I'm going to use is a story, and this is very fresh. This is as of, I think it was 2 days ago that this occurred. So we had a recruiting agency putting together a bid for some work with a large consulting firm. And the consulting firm was embarking on digital transformation projects. There's a lot of work coming their way. And they were using this smaller recruiting agency to help them understand that. The recruiting agency had heard about One Model and our new product, the labor market intel product. And then I'm going to tell you the rest of the story. So what we did was we looked at the consulting firm A, that's the one that they're bidding for business with, across several metrics, reviewing current workforce and the job postings by location and by role, so we could see what were they trying to build in this organization. So we're getting really kind of at the DNA of this organization. And if I worked in consulting firm A, I probably would be doing the same thing. Like first, I want to see what's going on, what is moving around. Then I want to find out the sources and destinations of our talent. The other thing is the compensation, the estimated compensation for the current workforce that's there and the compensation for those job postings that are out there. So I want to get a flavor for how those things are working. And then we take the same information for their competitor firms, B and C in this case. I've redacted this. And one of the things that we did within the tool is we looked at having, we put 3 companies into columns and with a stack of metrics. That's just something that we've built right in. A number of these pages keep going down vertically, and I'm just snipping pieces off to show. So there's some trends on job postings. You can see one of them is bouncing around a lot more than the other ones. So we use this to develop a set of insights. So this is kind of like, again, this is the how. This is walking through, we've got this tool. In fact, let me just flip back real quick through the different things. You've got location information that's by geography, by MSA. You've got roles by job title and function and what that mix looks like. You've got the sources. Where are you getting talent from? From which, maybe from schools, from your competitors, et cetera. And where is your talent going? HRIS systems and people analytics platforms don't tell you where people are going. They tell you someone left. You don't know what they left for. You might have a leaving reason coded somewhere, but you don't know where they went to. Not systematically, maybe anecdotally. And again, here we're looking at standardized metrics. These are metrics like attrition rates, promotion rates, the average tenure, the diversity rates, the hiring over the last year. Again, we're basically taking what you would look at in your own people analytics platform or your own reporting. Let's say if you don't have a decent platform for that. In your own reporting, the metrics that you would put together, seeing your company with your competitors, which is an important thing to distinguish in a second, but to look at those next to each other. And what's important about the word competitors is, and this is becoming more and more obvious, especially around digital talent, like the kind of talent that this company is actually looking at. And that is that your talent competitors are not always your market competitors. And the more things go towards digital, the more true that becomes. You're going to have your domain experts, and you're going to have a ton of technology people, and you will see that mix changing over time. Again, what it means is who you are competing with for talent might surprise you. When we look at sources and destinations of talent, we can see the flow between companies. We start to see that Amazon is grabbing people from every type of industry. So industry and industry competitors, it becomes less and less relevant. It also means that your leaders don't know as much about who they're competing with for talent or where to go look for that talent. It also means the networks that they had, which tend to be industry related, may be not as rich. That's some of the background of those things. So thanks for letting me go through that twice, Al. Now, quick insights that we put together is we found these items, and I'm paraphrasing this and compacting it into three things. It's a little bit of a longer write-up that we provided, but we did this all in a course of, I don't know, it's probably maybe 45 minutes or an hour or something like that. You have to subtract off the amount of time that I was having fun looking at some of the stuff when we were putting it together. The Firm B, their competitor, has been hiring more digital roles and right at their doorstep. So they are basically hiring right in the backyard of this firm. So the employer brand may need some help because people are they're going to the competitor. All of the firms slowed down during the pandemic, but firm C is accelerating out of the pandemic. You may have seen that line that was over there. So you could be potentially losing ground, not just in the talent you're getting, but in a strategic sense, as a business. Why is your competitor ramping up? Are they foolish? Are hiring too far ahead of need, or are they getting ahead of a wave of work that you may not be able to bid on because you won't have the resources? And your attrition rate, this firm A, attrition rate 30% higher than your peers. And a lot of them are leaving to join your competitors. And the competitors, the job postings that we're looking at, are paying more. You need to work on retention. Okay, so this is this agency is going to be working on like talent strategies more broadly. They're not just working on a specific one-off recruiting role by role. They're building this. What they did was to bring this integrate it into their bid proposal, and the response was, and I'm quoting, blown away. So this is what a story of the how. how you can take that information, how you can ingest it, and how it can be used. In this case, I don't know how many recruiting agencies on the phone, probably not that many, but if you think about your recruiting teams, they're basically internal recruiting agencies. They're helping to do these same things. So I think there's a lot of crossover. So before you try this, you're going to need a tool that provides granular data. So you need compensation skills, you need trends, individual profiles, role history. You have to have granular data. You have to have effective storyboard designs. And that doesn't mean like stuff with dancing, numbers and bells and whistles. It means they have to be effective. What is effective in storyboard design? It is something that minimizes and shortens the amount of time between the information being on the screen and rich insights being in the viewer's head. So you need to shorten that. And the way you do that, the way you reduce the cognitive load is through design. So you have to have those things kind of worked out. So you have to anticipate the behavior or what somebody's going to be looking for and get it designed right. And so what we have is storyboards that are designed to hit at those specific problems and let people walk through those as quickly as we can. The ability to create your own stuff. So power users that want to create custom views, whatever tool you're using, it's going to need to be able to do that. Your power users are going to want to change things around. What you want, in this case, what you want to minimize is screenshots into PowerPoint, data export, Excel, chart, screenshot, PowerPoint. All that stuff is inefficiencies, and the closer you can get to the final product right in the tool itself, ideally just using the tool itself, directly with whoever your customers are, the better. So your power users are going to want that. Again, the storyboard design is going to help a broader base of users, but being able to create your own stuff is a power user thing. You need the critical metrics, not just data, not just here's the number of postings, number of people, but having data so you can compare this and you can use it like a people analytics platform, effectively giving you benchmarks on the fly. The days of buying big piles of benchmark data are quickly coming to an end, in my opinion. And in the bonus area, not shown today, is the integration of external and internal data. So if you join this data up at a granular level, your ability to make very deep market insights and do predictive modeling is going to go through the roof. I will give you an example. After, there was actually an event recently, a predictive turnover throwdown, which was the most brilliant named event. And in that, we saw various people's models shown at a pretty granular level. There was some external data used in those models, and I've seen external data used in other predictive attrition models. The data that's used is typically at like an industry level, maybe at a job level. It's not really that granular. So you put that in there and you see, does that have a meaningful effect? But if you have something that says software engineer in Austin, Texas, and you have something that has the trend, the increasing, decreasing pressures, the difference between supply and demand that's going on in that market, and that is baked directly in with your own data, the power of having that together, even just in an observational metric standpoint, before we get to predictive modeling, to having the ability to put that kind of stuff together. This is the power of external data directly connected at scale. Oh, and that's the end. Al, I'm ready for you now. So learn more. You can, labor market intelligence, there's the URL, onemodel.co/LMI-coming-soon. And we mean really soon.
Hey, so there's a couple of things that I want to pick up on. And again, congratulations for you all taking the step. And I know you've been at it for a while, both from a process-centric standpoint, but now bringing that into your product, I think is a huge leap, because it can provide that view of internal and external in one platform, which is huge, obviously. What I want to pick up on is this storyboard design, because there's a lot of chatter over the last several years around telling stories with data, and I know both you and I celebrate that. One of the things that I've long advocated for is really understanding the stories that you think you're going to be telling in the first place, and then making sure you have the requisite data to support those stories, keeping in mind that the story might shift and move based on what you learn from the data. However, there are certain assumptions that are out there. There are certain stories that we have in our minds, that certain teams have narratives around. If we can capture those, test them, we might break a myth, or we might validate some way of thinking. So storyboard design in relation to leveraging talent market intelligence, what does that look like for you all?
This is the heart of user design empathy, thinking through. It's not really my stories. It's not the stories that I'm going to go looking for, right? Because if I'm designing for myself, I just put it. I'm a different person than they are. I just put it all there, and I would just bounce around. I'd pick up the pieces I need. I digest data differently than the users. If I'm the leader of a people analytics COE, which has been my role a few times over, it's not. I'm a different person. I have to think through the questions and the behaviors and the responses that my users are going to have, and those are the questions. So I really have to step out and then take on a role of CHRO, of the head of diversity, of the head of talent acquisition, of an HR business partner, of a business leader, a manager of a team. I have to think through, what do those people, what are they asking? We are approaching things in this kind of in a question format, where the answers are in the data below. And in the near future, I want to see us kind of building out you've got to get beyond. To bring intelligence in, you have to get beyond exceptions. Here are the ones to look at because this number popped or that. But really, in the background with machine learning, the ability to say these are the meaningful differences that occurred, because there's a lot of differences that occur that just are normal fluctuations, and you can't a system can't do that without having some decent math in the background.
Right. Hey, as we start to wrap up here, can you do me two quick favors? Number one, can you stop sharing your screen so
Sure.
the viewers can see your handsome mug? And there you go.
Yeah.
And so the other...
Sorry. My handsome mug. Sorry.
Well done. Use a pun, go to prison. There you go. So my question is this, is something that's came up already several times today, and that is, who do you regard as the principal user or users of this new capability? You mentioned earlier talent acquisition and recruiting. However, when you bring in the internal data, there's a host of users, those who are facilitating internal mobility, compensation, on down the line. So what's your ideal future state for how this aspect of your product, or maybe product in general, can be utilized?
I think you've nailed it. When we look at these products, a people analytics platform and an external market platform, then the external market data is really relevant for people analytics teams and recruiters and sometimes diversity leaders. Managers, really not. That's not there. But and the people analytics platform should be the people analytics team, and it should have the data science to drive that. And it should go to everyone you named. There's even companies that are bringing this data down to the individual employee level. Okay, so in a people analytics platform, of course, when you combine it, then you've got even, maybe that's not what you want to show your employees.
Yeah, right.
Exactly. But when you combine it, for a manager to know, because a lot of the managers are making the decision, I'm going to expand my team, I'm going to build this skill set, empowering them to actually have some intel on the market for skills and what their competitors are doing and what's happening is important. There is strategically valuable information about the future of the business that's sitting in the talent market data as well. If your competitor just hired, 20 new UX designers in a different city than they've been in, that's important. if they're if they just hire salespeople in Oklahoma City, and that's where your biggest growth plans are, and they just showed up there, you can see that stuff matters strategically. So there's a couple different places where this data, the external market data, the combination for a manager to see both their team and the external, and then also the strategic value, which I think that has the value proposition stronger actually outside of HR, because those folks are going to be able to read their competitors, their market competitors' strategies directly from what they're doing. They can be talking about blockchain or something, but they're not hiring anybody. It's not happening.
Interesting. There's so much more to talk about this topic, and we will, of course, as we start the new year. In the meantime, how can people learn more about One Model and you specifically?
I'm easy to find.
Yes, you are.
I'm on LinkedIn. It's Nicholas Garbis on LinkedIn. But at One Model, you can find us at www.onemodel.co. That's CO. And you can find our labor market intel product info underneath our product tab. And I'm thrilled to be here. Thanks, Al, for having me. This is I guess all these topics we talk about, I'm super passionate about. So,
and the good news is, and was curious, as I know you are, and just the community in general, how people analytics would fare in the pandemic. And if there is, I don't want to call it good news necessarily, but we've shown to be essential in that, we need to get data and insight into how people are thinking and feeling, as well as where they are, what they can do to elevate their employability and to help organizations get where they want to go. So we're in a good place, relatively speaking. So feel grateful for that. And you guys have led the way. So.
Yeah, and I'm going to do something after we're done here. I'm going to go back to our tool. I'm going to look at something that I think is happening, which is people analytics roles, strategic workforce planning roles. There are more and more of them coming in. So I'm going to do a little bit of research on us.
Well, please do, and share it back. Love to talk about it. All right, you be well, stay safe, enjoy your swim tomorrow morning. You
got to get there.
All right, cheers.
All right, see you. Thank you.